On this, we're joined by Mehmet Celik. He's here in Istanbul, and he's the editorial coordinator at the Daily Sabah newspaper. Mehmet, thanks for joining us on the program. So we broke down there what's happened between these two countries over the course of 10 years. But why did Turkey decide to change its relationship structure with Egypt, and what was the timing of it?
Well, I mean, the normalization of ties between Turkey and Egypt is not something that we can isolate it from other regional dynamics. There has been a new wave of normalization within the region, be it with Turkey's relations with Saudi Arabia, Turkey's relations with the UAE, with Israel, and there are two missing links. One of them was today fixed, which is Egypt, and there is another one that is still remains problematic, and there is talks on it, which is Syria. So this wave of normalization has been fixing ties between several very prominent and important actors in the region, Turkey being one of them. And of course, Egypt's influential role in the region is not something that we can put aside. So today's step, I think, will be very influential at two levels. One is the regional level, which is a continuation of this normalization wave and this reconciliation within the region, with Turkey and Egypt fixing the ties. But on a bilateral level, there is also a huge potential that was put aside in the past 10 years due to the reasons that you previously mentioned. And now Turkey and Egypt, they are historically very closely linked. Culturally, they're very closely linked. And despite this strained ties in the past decade, there was still some movement in the trade and economic relations. But this potential needs to be realized, which will benefit, I think, which will be beneficial for both Turkey and Egypt, particularly given the huge population of Egypt, which creates a big potential for Turkish businesses and Turkish investments. It's a big market for Turkish products. On the other hand, there is, in the regional level, there is the Libya issue, the Eastern Mediterranean issue, even the Israel and Palestine issue, as well as Syria issue, is very important for the normalization of Turkey and Egypt relations, where the two can be very influential in each of these key conflicts in the region. For example, in Libya, Turkey and Egypt have been very prominent on the opposing sides, and now maybe they can work together to actually find a permanent solution or some sort of solution for Libya crisis. When it comes to Eastern Mediterranean, although they were on the conflicting sides, Egypt still did not have a very rigid position vis-a-vis Turkey's position in the Eastern Mediterranean. So now that these have been, today's step has been taken, I think, be it in the Eastern Mediterranean, in Libya, or even in issues like Syria and Israel and Palestine, these two very strong and influential countries can play a big role to spread around and trickle down this normalization effect within the region. And of course, the two peoples, Egyptians and Turkish people are very, very closely linked, but there were diplomatic obstacles between them to spread around this benefit of close links. And now, if these diplomatic obstacles are removed, I think that encounter will even be stronger.
You've outlined all of the very positive aspects of this normalization. But what are some of the challenges that these two countries may still face, especially bilaterally?
Well, bilaterally, I think once this diplomatic normalization takes place, there isn't many. Of course, there are some political aspects that needs to be still tackled, particularly when it comes to the issue of Muslim Brotherhood and how Turkey's position vis-a-vis Muslim Brotherhood, and how the current administration or current government in Egypt is looking at Muslim Brotherhood. This will be something that will, of course, needs to be talked and negotiated or discussed between the authorities from both sides. But other than that, I don't see any obstacles other than issues in Libya and East Med, for example. There may be conflicting opinions, but I think the fact that there is now a dialogue platform, a platform where they can discuss these issues, these will not also affect bilateral relations. And I think, negatives are very perhaps little to list. But on the other hand, I think both sides need to maximize on the potential and maximize on the positive sides of these two countries' potentials in the region or in the bilateral ties.
Mehmet Celik, thank you so much for your analysis live there from Istanbul.